The big time tech YouTubers have already covered most of the things about the ROG Phone 5, but for my regular viewers, y'all know that I always try to give you extra information and my actual user experience. And of course, we'll also be talking about that video from Jerry Rigged Everything. As usual, here's a quick unboxing so you'll know what's included in the package. This is the classic ROG Phone 5. So off the top, what's unique about the ROG Phone unboxing is that you have this AR or augmented reality experience. It's really cool and gives you that gaming phone vibe from the get-go. And what I love about these ROG phones is that ASUS really puts as much detail into everything. And when I say everything, that includes even their SIM ejector tool, and it's really insane. In the small box, you get a back cover which barely covers anything at all, and some stickers to show off that you're Team ROG. You also get a 65-watt charging brick with a USB-C port, and of course a USB-C charging cable. So let me just underscore this. You can't use your existing USB-A to USB-C cables. You'll need a USB-C to USB-C cable to be able to use the 65-watt charger. Now design-wise, the regular ROG Phone 5 has a toned-down look compared to last year's ROG Phone 3. It still looks every bit a gaming phone with the ROG logo LED and its other design elements at the back, and even its SIM card tray with the red highlight gives you that gaming phone accentuation. At the bottom, you have a microphone, a USB-C port, and the headphone jack. You also spot some antenna bands, which means that this has an aluminum frame. On the right side, you have another microphone, the power button, the volume rockers, and the air triggers. On the left, you have the dual SIM card slot and the port covered by a rubber where you can attach most of the ROG Phone accessories. There's also another USB-C port underneath the rubber cover, which you can use to charge as well. On top, you only have another microphone and 2 extra antenna bands. At the back, you have a triple camera setup and a 4th microphone, which completes the 4 microphone setup that ensures that all microphones won't get covered simultaneously, which is great thinking. The back has a Corning Gorilla Glass 3 with a super slippery finish, so be warned that if you don't put a case on this is bound to slip from your hand. Now if you're wondering where the speakers are, well, they're front-facing speakers, so they're nowhere near your usual top and bottom areas. They're very loud and produce good sounding audio even at the maximum volume. I'd like to say that they're on par or even slightly better than the ROG Phone 3's speakers, which I think had the best phone speakers in 2020. For majority of the consumers, the ROG Phone 5 is far too big to wield one-handed. It weighs a lot at 238 grams, so definitely consider these factors if you're looking for a gaming phone. At the heart of the ROG Phone 5 is the Snapdragon 888. For those who are always updated, you already know that this is the most powerful chipset so far. It is paired with the Adreno 600 GPU that promises to deliver 35% better performance compared to last year's ROG Phone 3. But this wouldn't be a gaming phone if ASUS didn't pull out all the stops. So this also has UFS 3.1 and LPDDR5 RAM, which ensure that this phone performs like a beast. Software-wise, it comes with Android 11 out of the box and the ROG UI. And you also have the option to switch to the Zen UI, which is a simpler UI, but I think the ROG UI works really well with this. Aside from your usual Android apps, one of the main things you will have to get accustomed to is the Armoury crate. Think of it as a central hub where you can customize how your phone performs, from X mode for maximum performance, dynamic mode for a balance between performance and battery life, to the ultra durable mode for maximum battery life. You can also change the colors of your RGB lights in the Armoury crate. There's also a game library in there, so I really recommend familiarizing yourself with the Armoury crate from the start. You also have the option to select different gaming themes for that extra bit of gaming phone touch. The 6.78-inch AMOLED Full HD display on the ROG Phone 5 looks gorgeous. Its sheer size is something that gamers would appreciate a lot. It's packed to the brim with features like HDR10+, 144Hz refresh rate, 300Hz touch sampling rate, DC dimming, although this only works at 60Hz refresh rate, and an in-display fingerprint scanner, and it even is protected by the top-of-the-line Corning Gorilla Glass Victus. So needless to say, watching videos and playing games on its large display is just so much fun. The colors are really vibrant, and there's an infinite contrast here because it's using an AMOLED display, and ASUS also claims that this has great color accuracy. And it also has Widevine Level 1 certification, so that means you can watch HD Netflix, HD Amazon, HD Disney Plus on this. The camera is usually an afterthought for most gaming phones. They just don't put too much effort providing us with the best cameras on these phones. So even though the camera specs on the ROG Phone 5 are impressive, they don't actually translate to flagship level quality. And you can even tell by the number of camera features they put on here that this isn't really the main priority. And for most people getting this, that's actually okay because they're not really concerned about the camera quality. But don't get me wrong, the camera isn't bad, they're actually decent, but that's about it. I hate wasting your time, so if you are interested in seeing actual camera samples, they are all in the Google Drive link in the description box. This way we can go straight to my actual gaming experience. But before we move on to the gaming discussion, just a quick reminder that if you found this video helpful and enjoyed it so far, a sub to the channel would be much appreciated. Okay, so if you haven't tried a gaming phone before, well, the experience is almost similar with regular phones, with the addition of the shoulder buttons. In the ROG phone's case, they are called the air triggers. So these are touch-sensitive buttons that you can map out and assign to a specific action in a game. And trust me, having these extra shoulder triggers is super helpful for everyone. It frees up your thumbs to just focus on aiming if you're playing FPS games. And one more thing about gaming phones is that they usually come with an overlay menu for your gaming settings. With ASUS, it's called the Game Genie, and this is where you can toggle most of your gaming options on the fly without the need to exit the game. It's super convenient and has a comprehensive list of settings to give you that freedom of customizing your gaming experience based on your preference. Now, the best feature in the Game Genie for me is the bypass charging, which allows you to plug the phone on power and bypassing the battery charging. This is so cool, especially for hardcore gamers who play non-stop for several hours. With the Snapdragon 888, I had zero performance issues. I was able to get maximum graphical settings for most of the games except for Mobile Legends, which didn't have the Ultra Graphics as of the time of this review. There's really no question about gaming performance here. I'll simply be repeating what most reviewers have already said, so I think what's more important to talk about is its thermals. So when playing games, whether I was in X mode or in dynamic mode, temperature was pretty consistent. After playing for several hours, it will rise up to 43 degrees Celsius, and that is a little too warm, but still bearable. So even with Genshin Impact, I was only hovering around 43 degrees Celsius, and that's actually saying a lot considering that with the Mi 11 with the same Snapdragon 888, I was hitting 51 degrees Celsius. Now, there is some minor thermal throttling, but that's normal for devices like this if you play for several hours. It's not that bad and it's really not that noticeable. You just see a few frame drops here and there. But what's really nice is that the Aero Active 5 that comes with the ROG Phone 5 here in the Philippines actually helps in dissipating the heat. So overall, the thermals are pretty good on the ROG Phone 5 considering that it's running on literally the hottest flagship chipset. Now, since the components are not all packed near the camera area like on most phones these days, you can actually feel the heat spreading all throughout the phone. But this way, it's actually easier to cool some of the components because you can now put a cooler in the middle part without worrying about covering the camera lens area. So armed with a 6000 mAh battery split into two using the middle tab or MMT technology, the ROG Phone 5 can charge up to 65 watts, which ASUS calls as hypercharge. The charging time really depends on your device's current temperature, but I was able to finish charging its battery from 0 to 100% in about 58 minutes. But what I think should be highlighted more is the fact that you can actually put a cap to your battery's charging capacity. So instead of charging up to 100%, you can actually set it to 80% or 90%. This will help a lot in extending your battery's lifespan. In addition, there's also an option to steady charge, which produces less heat as compared to the 65-watt hypercharge. Then there's also a custom charging option that allows you to trickle charge your phone overnight. All these simple battery features are so helpful in prolonging your battery life and really should be a key factor for those looking for a phone to use for several years. Alright, so while the ROG Phone 5 is indeed the ultimate gaming phone in terms of specs, it does have 3 key features that I feel would have really pushed it over the top. First is the lack of an IP water and dust resistance. And then there's also the lack of a micro SD card slot, and lastly, it's non-flagship cameras. But aside from those 3 features, the ROG Phone 5 really almost has it all. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, its durability. Due to its battery orientation, the middle part consequently became a weak point and is thus susceptible to breaking if enough bending force is applied in the said area. Should this fact scare you away from buying the ROG Phone 5? Well, it depends. If you're the type of person who likes bending their phones to try and snap it in two, then sure, you really shouldn't get this phone. But if you're gonna use this phone like a normal person, there really isn't too much to fear about. I used the phone for almost a month and put it in my pants pocket and never really had any fear of breaking it into two. Now, before you troll me in the comments, I am in no way saying that it's not gonna break. I'm just saying that with normal usage, you probably are not gonna break it. So at the end of the day, should the ROG Phone 5 be your next gaming phone? Well, if you're a hardcore gamer, this definitely sits at the top of the list of phones you should consider. This has the ultimate specs and the actual performance to go with it. If you're not really looking for price to performance value, then this will give you the satisfaction of owning the top spec gaming phone right now. Sometimes having that peace of mind and not worrying about the performance can be priceless. However, if price to performance value is what you're looking for in a gaming phone, well, you guys must watch my next video, which is about the Black Shark 4. Anyway, if you want to get your own ROG Phone 5, all of the links are in the description box. And if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell button so you can watch more videos like this in the future. That's it for today, guys. Keep safe and have a great day.